Good day. Today, our group will be presenting on the topic is online learning more effective than face-to-face learning for foundation students. Before we start, my group members are Ethan Eltabet, Nurhan Apkori, and me myself, Ielham. So this presentation is based on a research article by Kin Y that was published in 2025 in Kogan Education. In this presentation, we will analyze and compare both learning methods and determine which is more effective for foundation students. So before we start talking about the heavy topics, I would like to present on the introduction first. First and foremost, online learning became widely used during the COVID-19 pandemic and has continued to be implemented in universities even after the pandemic ended. Today, many institutions use both online and face-to-face learning methods depending on the subject and situation. However, these two learning modes provide different experience for students, especially in terms of interaction, engagement, and understanding of the topic. This is particularly important for foundation students as they are still adapting to university levels and may require more guidance and structured support. Therefore, it is important to examine which learning method is more effective for their academic success. Now, for problem statement, there is still ongoing debate about whether online learning is more effective than face-to-face learning. Some students prefer online learning because it is more flexible and convenient, allowing them to study anywhere, anytime. However, other students face challenges such as lack of focus, low motivation, and limited interaction with lecturers. This lack of interactions may affect students' understanding and engagement in the learning process. For foundation students, these challenges can be more significant because they require more guidance, supervision, and direct support. Therefore, it is important to evaluate both learning methods using research evidence in order to determine which approach is more effective. Now, let's go for the objectives. The objectives of this analysis are to compare the effectiveness of online learning and face-to-face learning. Next, we aim to analyze the advantages and limitations of both learning methods and how they impact students' understanding. Finally, we aim to recommend the most suitable learning approach for foundation students based on their findings from the research.
Alright, so now moving on, let's take a look at the case description and facts. So first of all, face-to-face learning is perceived to be more effective. Most participants reported that offline classes are more effective than online learning. Next, communication is better in face-to-face learning. Face-to-face learning allows for immediate questioning and feedback and has faster clarification of doubts. And third, online learning has some advantages. Online learning allows for the ability to replay, record the lectures, and higher flexibility of learning time. And fourth, academic performances can be similar. Many studies shows no significant differences in grades between online and face-to-face learning. Now, let's take a look at the analysis and discussion of this case. The article shows that the face-to-face learning is generally more effective than online learning, as most students, about 78%, prefer it due to better interaction and communication. In physical classrooms, students can ask questions immediately, receive instant feedback, and engage in discussions, which improves understanding and knowledge retention. The structured environment also helps students stay focused and reduce distraction. In contrast, online learning often limits real-time interaction, leading to delayed responses and weaker engagement. This can make it harder for students, especially foundation students, to fully understand concepts. However, the article also highlights that online learning has important advantages, such as flexibility, access to recorded lectures, and the ability to revisit learning materials. Despite its limitations, online learning can still produce similar academic outcomes if students are motivated and the system is well designed. The study suggests that the effectiveness depends not only on the method, but also on the student engagement and discipline. Therefore, while face-to-face learning remains more suitable for foundation students, a blended learning approach that combines both methods is the most effective solution overall and is as it balances interaction with flexibility. So here are the option and recommended solution for this case problem statement. So first for the option, fully online learning. Learning is conducted entirely through platform. However, it may reduce interaction between students and lecturer. Next, fully face-to-face learning. Learning takes place in classrooms as it supports better engagement. However, it's less flexible in terms of time and location. And third, we have the blended learning, which combines both face-to-face learning face-to-face learning and online learning. It it functions is to maintain strong interaction while offering flexibility. So the recommended solution is based on the article. The best solution is blended learning. Face-to-face learning improves understanding, interaction, and engagement, and online learning offers flexible learning time. Blended learning reduces the lack of interaction, improve motivation and focus, and also allow flexible revision. It can be done with core subjects being taught face to face, and supplementary materials and lectures are provided online, and also to use interactive tools to enhance engagement.
So, for the conclusion, the study demonstrates that although students generally prefer face-to-face learning due to greater interaction and engagement, both online and face-to-face modes yield comparable academic outcomes. This suggests that the effectiveness of learning is not determined by the mode of delivery, but rather by the quality of instruction and the learner's cognitive engagement, particularly the occurrence of epiphany moments that signify meaningful understanding. That's all for the conclusion.